Welcome to the next episode of Hustle and Heir. We are your hosts, Nena and
Mimi.
Thanks for tuning in once again. In the spirit of celebrating women this month, we would like to dedicate this episode to an aspect of women's health. There is still so much we don't know and continue to discover.
We are so excited today to have with us Omar from Yoni Steaming by O. Welcome, Omar.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
We're so excited
awesome.
to have you
We are
on the
so
show
excited.
today.
Our people are ready.
I don't know if they're ready.
You
I
know?
don't think so.
There is a lot we are going to discuss today.
Listen, Yoni Steaming. Yoni for my Noni.
Yoni for my Noni. Mm-hmm. That's the name of the
Yoni
episode.
for my Noni.
Yoni.
Yes.
Wow.
How do you like that? Little ring to it.
Catchy. You know what I mean?
So for those of you who have not heard of Yoni steaming before, vaginal steaming is sometimes shortened to V steaming and also known or more commonly known as Yoni steaming. It's an alternative health treatment where a woman squats or sits over steaming water containing herbs such as mugwort, rosemary, wormwood, and basil.
What are we doing? What are we waiting for?
Listen,
Give me some hot steam. That sounds delicious.
Omar, I gotta say, when you first told me what you did, I think I asked you 3 times.
I think you needed a clarification. To make sure you hear
come
it
again?
right.
Excuse me, come again. Did you say steaming?
I know.
Not ironing steaming?
I was like, pardon? What?
Yeah, something you don't hear every day from a guy, right?
Right?
Especially from a guy. But please, why don't you tell us, how you got into this ministry?
Amen.
Vaginal steaming ministry.
Exactly.
You are out here literally saving lives. Like, not all heroes wear capes,
Changing
okay?
lives, girl.
Changing
lives.
lives.
Changing
and
lives.
that's what it's about. It's literally about change, especially women. The society I believe they don't value women enough. Mm-hmm. They're not treated the way they should be.
I mean, I'll agree to that.
I'll agree.
Right?
Listeners, I'm sure you'd agree too. Mm-hmm.
And learning and researching simply the word yoni, it literally just popped up on my my internet, just surfing regularly. Mm-hmm. And as I searched more, it started popping up, and I looked into it, and having a lot of female friends and family that have different ailments, as for lack of a better word, or a disorder of the womb. It kind of piqued my interest. And me being an empath and always wanted to help people, I started diving into it more and trying to figure out, okay, so what can I do about this? Where can I fit in here to help people that I know?
Amazing.
Because I mean, in research and talking to people, a lot of people don't know about Yoni steaming.
No,
I didn't know too much about it either.
No, I didn't. And it's kind of amazing. Almost, like the universe was sending a message to you. Like you stumbled across it through research. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And kind of through conversations with the people, like the women in your network, it kind of helped guide you a little bit further. But maybe just talk to us about are you can anybody be a Yoni steamer? Like, did you have to go do training? Like, tell us how that kind of evolved.
Well, anybody can do Yoni steaming. Obviously, it's not common to males. I'm only one of 2 males that have ever gone through the Yoni Steam Institute. As you asked, where I've been certified and stuff like that. I choose to go with the Yoni Steam Institute because she was the first person to do research into it, actually.
Okay.
Where did she certify
Olasunde Ajala.
Okay.
She's African, and she's based in the U.S. She's been doing it for 10 years. So I figured I would want to be trained by someone that have gone through it, that have done the research, and it would be able to direct me in a proper manner so as to bring it forth to the people, to women.
That's pretty cool. So how long did you have to train for?
It was a weekend long course.
Okay.
But that, along with a little bit of my research and just listening to the universe, as you put it earlier, that, the universe has a way of bringing you to things, and you're like, what, me? Why should I do this? So it kind of was like a year-long back and forth with me talking to the universe, and it just keep popping up, and I'm why me? like, why should I do this? Like, I'm a guy.
Right?
Why do you keep putting this in front of me?
Right.
But I've been fortunate to have met so many people that have said to me, you know what, if something keeps popping up, it means that you're supposed to do it for a reason.
Yeah, it could be your calling.
It might not make sense, as I'm sure a lot of women like yourselves have wondered.
I know.
Like, wow, a guy is doing this. But, my hands have been very blessed. I've always taken to carpentry, making things from scratch.
Yes.
Being an only child, you have to entertain yourself and find things to occupy your time. So, that was done with crafts and singing and carpentry, that kind of stuff. So, I've always been encouraged to continue along those lines and that path. So.
Well, I think it's really important too that some of the professions that are predominantly held by women, as we always encourage women to get into positions where men normally dominate, that it's great that you saw this, you researched it, you thought it was your calling, and being the type of person you are, you went for it, even though it's women dominated. I think there's a lot to be said about that. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, kind of thinking about a Yoni steaming session by O. What
experience?
Yes.
So the blessed hands, y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
These herbal blends. Maybe walk us through what a person, kind of experiencing that with you. What would that look like?
When we talk about before I talk about how I come up with the blends and stuff like that, and walk you through a Yoni steam session, it's important to know that it is a spiritual session just as much as a healing session. Because,
I love that.
That's great. That's amazing.
I always encourage women to relax and focus, set your intentions, because we in our day-to-day routines, we carry out a lot of spells. I know our listeners might be like, oh, spells.
Witchcraft,
juju, right? Immediately.
But funny enough, cooking is a spell because you use a recipe. When you take your herbs and mama's doing the cooking, and you're like, that smells good, and nobody can do it like mama, and we eat it and we feel so good. That's a spell.
I'm captivated already.
I'm already in.
It really is. And that's why you hear a lot of people say, oh, be careful where you eat. Be careful where you eat
that's
from.
A big
Don't
one.
eat from everybody.
Absolutely.
That's a big one.
So I'm glad you asked, who I am and how I got into this, because that's very important when you choose where you go to get your Yoni steaming, because that person has to be doing it of good intention, right? Just like cooking, you have to set your intentions.
Absolutely.
That person's intentions, the atmosphere has to be set, and that person also has to bring the client into that space, right? So which means wherever you go, even if it's not with me, make sure that person brings you to a space of calm, make sure their intentions are good. If they don't sit you down and try to build a rapport with you, try to figure out, you as a person. Because like I said, it's a lot deeper than just taking herbs and putting it together and helping you.
There's a science to it almost.
Yeah, there is a science to it. You have to be drawn to the herbs. You watch a lot of movies and you see, oh, this person is drawn to that. You have to be drawn to the herbs, even though you might look at the herbs and know what they do. Every person's different, right?
Yeah.
You get in the presence of people and it's like, oh, like, you know what? Something about this person
Exactly,
is
is
not,
drawing you
you know,
there.
is rubbing
Or it's
me the
not
wrong
right.
way.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? This person is really positive. Like, I feel
Absolutely.
like I could be around them, you know, have them, you know, as a friend or
I
that kind of
agree.
thing. So
No.
it's just
I
that
mean,
thing.
coming,
It's
you know,
true.
obviously, you know, going back to our African heritage, and I'm sure the Caribbean is quite the same as well. We go a lot off of feeling and energy, and is this right for me? Does this, you know, when it comes to being pregnant, when it comes to food is a major one. You know, we are sometimes, you know, what you would call probably a superstitious
Absolutely.
a superstitious continent. We do not do certain things. We do not like certain things done to us. And so this bodes very well with, you know, making sure the person that is doing even something as where it's a Yoni steaming service where you can go and get it from almost anyone or who is trained, but you want to make sure that, you know, your auras align, your energy aligns.
It's
so
a
that
very
you,
intimate
it's
experience.
exactly. It's a very intimate
intimate
experience, and you
experience.
want to make sure that you get the most intimate and fulfilling experience when you're getting the service.
Exactly.
So, you know, Omar, tell the listeners, give us kind of like a brief history of where Yoni Steaming came from and its origins, and kind of speak to that a little bit.
Well, you know, there's kind of a controversy of where it came from. You know, some people say it comes from Korea. Some people say it came from Africa.
Woo!
Right.
All good things
Yeah.
come from the
All
motherland.
Yes,
things from the
yes.
continents only.
Yes.
But, you know, there's a lot of history that's been lost through colonialism and stuff like that. You know, a lot of stuff has been buried and hidden from us. But, you know, the universe has a way of bringing it back to us because, you know, DNA is passed down.
Absolutely.
So, you know, they can hide it all they want, but it always comes back.
What is done in the dark will come to light.
Will come to light.
Always.
But it says, you know, this is it's a Sanskrit word. Back in 1799, it means sacred space.
Oh, that's
Right?
beautiful.
You know,
wonderful.
like I said earlier, you know, I believe that our power comes from the yoni as well as our voice, because our larynx, our voice box, has a similar shape. That's why power is in the words.
Oh.
Actually, speaking of
Wow.
the yoni, what exactly is the yoni?
The yoni, it's your womb.
Oh.
Yeah, it's your womb.
And so it's another word for
It's
womb?
for womb. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
So
interesting.
basically, like when you call it all the other names, like, you know, the P word that we throw around so loosely, it's actually not honoring your space. You know.
Say that again. It's not honoring your space.
Yes.
Woo. That was a good one.
That's deep.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sacred. Just like how, you know, we should choose our words wisely. You know, even the English language, we use day-to-day words that if you look it up in etymology, and etymology basically means the origin of words. We use a lot of words that basically put a spell on us, a negative spell on
Well,
us.
listen, that's a whole podcast right
That's
there.
that's a whole
different conversation.
We just threw
But you
right
just-
into the next
Yes.
podcast, okay?
Yes. But you absolutely have hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head
I agree.
right there.
Yeah, it's a very sacred space, and women and men alike should honor that. You know, through words of affirmation. You know, the way we talk about it, the way we treat it. You know.
And society needs to do better with that. I mean, I think we've just been put in this box of let's just be, you know, the coolest, or let's get the most likes, or let's get the most follows, and you know, we don't stop to think about what we're actually saying, not only to each other, but saying to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Which
But so much is lost.
so much is lost.
So much
And the
We've
younger
got to get it back,
generation.
especially with the younger generation. I think we were kind of we were like the last cusp of normalcy.
I still
Before-
thank God every day.
Right? Before IG
Yeah.
took over and all those other social platforms that
blessing.
now people kind of, you know, feel is almost Bible, quote unquote. But I totally agree with you on that for sure.
But, you know, so if a person who's never heard of it, like, I mean, I've never had it or experienced a Yoni steam, and I'm planning on hosting a Yoni steaming by O party this year.
Yes,
super excited for that. Yes, I cannot wait. And you know, we've had a chance to kind of talk a little bit more in depth about like what that experience would look like. Yeah. But for our listeners who are very new to all of this, and you know, you've kind of talked already about like, you know, being with the right practitioner, setting the right intention. But you know, once you've arrived at like, you know, the home of the person that's going to be experiencing this treatment, you know, kind of like walk us through what a person would expect in, you know, the practical application of that process.
Okay, well, when I would arrive at the person's home, you like I said, in the beginning, you want to set the atmosphere. You want to set your intentions. You want to set the atmosphere. That would and could include using sage and Palo Santo to get the negative ions flowing and kind of like remove the negative energy and get everybody in a positive mind frame, right?
Wine helps too. Are we allowed to have wine?
I don't think you're allowed to have wine, but we're gonna, you know, talk to the expert here.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, wine, even in our training, you know, wine is not one of the things that is encouraged. I know you see it on Instagram a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we prefer to go with herbal teas.
Okay.
Because the same herbs that you use for the blends for a particular person can also be used for a tea.
Okay.
That's
right. So you want to encourage using herbal teas, or water, or warm water with lemon. Kind of natural stuff, because you know, remembering that, you know, you're basically setting the atmosphere. You want to bring your mind to a place you want to focus, and even if you don't say the words out loud, you want to take your mind to that place. You know, words of affirmation. You say, you know, I'm beautiful. I love myself. My yoni is being healed from whatever I'm going through. I'm loving on myself. I'm gonna be well.
I love it. I just feel so good. Even
I'm
just
already
listening
I
to
know.
you.
I know. I'm already calm.
I'm in that space already.
I didn't even need the wine.
It makes you forget all about it.
Beautiful. My yoni is empowered. I feel it.
Yes.
Right.
So when you're coming up with the herbal blends, do you do it prior to the session or during the session?
I do it prior. I try to do it prior to the session, just because everyone is different and depending on how many people they are. So, and again, there's a whole list of herbs that do many different things. Some herbs you can double up on. You know, it defeats the purpose. So I look at a list and try to just like how I was led to Yoni steaming, I let the universe guide me to which herbs to use.
Oh, that's awesome.
So how long is a session?
A session can be between 20 to 35 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Kind of like getting your nails done.
Yeah. I don't know. I get my nails done a little bit.
I'll
be in that chair for an hour.
Yeah.
Between the manicure, the nail art.
That's true.
We look at it an hour and a half.
It's a whole process.
It is a bit of a process.
So when the blends, I love like the idea of customized blends.
Right.
You know, like what type of herbs, you know, like what are your favorites? Maybe just talk to us about like some of your favorite go-to blends. And also like, you know, what type of blends, like what type of treatments are you like helping women with as you're creating your blends?
Well, honestly, like when you really look at what can be done, it's so amazing. You can help anything from cramps to PCOS to tilted uterus to endometriosis to fibroids. It can help with all of these things,
especially for African American women.
Yeah, and a lot of people they always ask, oh, but does the steam like get up in there to help.
I know.
But no, it's
The unknown, right?
But don't forget, our skin is the biggest organ on our body, and it absorbs, you know, the herbs and the nutrients. That's why you also have to be careful of like the kind of soap you use.
That's true.
And the kind of perfumes you use. And that's why douches are not really the best thing to use.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So like the lining of the walls of your womb absorb the nutrients of the herbs, and along with your affirmations, because just like natural homeopathic remedies, without you being in a positive mind frame, you know, it's not going to work as well. Right. That's why we always, you know, there's some questions. Even before you get to steaming, there's a questionnaire that you fill out. You know, there's some questions that you will find, like, you know, how is your work life? How is your home life? And some questions might be a bit personal, but it's just to give a little bit of information to the practitioner as to how you go about your daily life. Like, are you stressed? Did you just recently have a breakup? You know, we don't just steam, you know, our clients. You know, sometimes you might just want to talk about something. Yeah. I'm very much a people person.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah,
I mean,
we definitely see that.
the way this connection happened.
That's
Shoe shot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool. It's nice to know that, you know, like, it's not just about the steaming and the service. Sometimes it's just, you know, a safe place to kind of come and talk and you know, release things. I think a lot of times people don't get that opportunity anymore to kind of just have a place to release. They have to keep things bottled in. And so, and I mean, especially as women, as we're kind of, this is an ode to International Women's Month. We, you know, carry a lot on our shoulders, whether it's, you know, going to work and being a working woman, raising a family, and all the other things that kind of fall on our backs that, you know, make us super women. So tell us a little on this, Omar. What should we not do if we were coming to one of your sessions? Like, how do we prepare?
Besides not drinking alcohol.
Well, I kind of thought that was already out. I didn't think that was part of the experience.
You know,
that's a separate experience. It's a club experience. You're doing a Yoni experience.
Okay. You know, I mean, first of all, it's just, you know, if you're hosting your girlfriends, let's get some bubbly, let's get some wine. Yeah. So it's just good to get it out here.
Wine does not help you relax and get into the zen moment that Omar is talking about.
Doesn't it?
No, it doesn't, girl. Look at you all wound up and everything.
Tell us more, Omar. Tell us more.
Tell us more.
You are hilarious. I'm loving
it. We get that sometimes.
We do.
Well, first of all, like, I'm not gonna knock a glass of wine because I mean I'm a wine drinker myself.
Right.
I love.
But there's a time and a place. That's
there
what I mean.
There is a time and a place for everything. You know. I mean, you know, I would encourage a glass here and there, but during the Yoni Steam session, I will not recommend it. Okay. But obviously, it's left up to the client.
Right. Is there any things that we can do to kind of prepare ourselves as we're coming to see you, or anything we shouldn't do or should do, or exercises?
I just recommend to, you know, put some like nice calm music on. And you know, just kind of release. Things. All the negative things. It may be a negative thing.
Twirl.
Yeah, it might be
like
something you're going
fabulous.
through. Like I said, it's all about affirmations.
Right.
It's all about affirmation. Even for myself personally, like that's what I have to do before I see a client.
It's interesting that the affirmations are just as powerful as the herbal blend.
Yes.
And, you know, people talk about the importance, you know, the strength that our words have.
Yes.
And
the tongue is a powerful thing,
exactly.
Right?
And sometimes I think I forget it, right? But, you know, kind of like sitting here and talking to you about it, it's a reminder that, you know, that positive self-talk is really critical in just a whole, you know, a positive experience, like in general, you know, for our health, for our work, for our relationships.
And we have to remember, even outside of just, you know, having a isolated experience, that it's important to give yourself affirmations and other people affirmations every day.
Lift each other up.
Lift each other
Yes.
up. That's what this is about, right?
Exactly.
And not only our women, of course, but our men as well. It's very important that we lift
got
them
you.
up as well.
We got you.
Thank you.
We got you.
We got you.
All right.
So, Omar, you know, it's funny. We kind of just touched briefly on how we met, but, you know, let's talk a little bit about that encounter. It was brief.
It was more you than me because this is Let's talk about that encounter because this is Mimi and I to a T. Like, she goes out and she's like, and then she'll like, wait a minute, this is my friend Nana. You want to meet her too. Go ahead.
So, you know, we got some girlfriends together and we were going for an outdoor skate, which is actually something that I was experiencing for the first time.
Right.
And it was so much fun. We had a great time.
We're down at Harborfront.
Yes,
awesome.
yes. And it was just amazing. It was a soca skate. So, you know, our people were out here. That melanin magic was, you know,
Skating on the
we
ice.
were tearing up that ice.
Holding it down.
We can still do those moves
We can do a little winter sporting.
Yes, we can skate.
Yes.
We can skate.
We know how to do that.
We know. So, you know, just out here, just having a really great time. And at the end of the evening, you know, we were kind of taking off our skates and we sat down on a bench and you were taking off your skates as well. And, you know, we just struck up a dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think
You did.
Okay. I may have struck up a dialogue.
That was all Mimi.
But we all her.
Y'all were a byproduct.
I was busy trying to struggle and take my skates off.
It's a hard life.
And Mimi was making friends.
Listen, I truly believe that when you're open to receive things, you know, the
The
universe
Yoni finds you.
Listen, the
Yes.
Yoni finds
Yes.
you.
Yoni finds
But
you.
the universe has my back, it has our back. And
Yes.
I, you know, I'm a Christian, so when I say
Amen.
universe, I'm speaking about, you know, God
God.
is in control
Woo.
of everything. And so anytime that, you know, there's an encounter that we would never expect, it's always like orchestrated, you know, by, you know, by God or, you know, whatever you believe out there as our listeners. I do believe that, you know,
higher being.
yeah, in a higher being that, you know, it's reflected very differently in all of us. So, you know, Omar and I had a conversation and, you know, people's energy, it's just your energy's open too, right? Like
Yes.
you're an amazing person and like that
Thank you.
clearly comes out like in
Yes,
just
yeah.
a brief interaction. And you know, we just connected on Instagram and you know, after obviously we talked about what you did, which was really funny. You took it really well.
I've grown used to it.
I'm sure.
I've grown used to it.
Speculation, the looking.
Some people
like,
look at me and it's like, so did you get into it to just look at women all day?
Right?
That was my initial thought. I was like,
And I have to go through the whole process of telling them I don't see any part of women at all.
Right?
oh, I didn't know
No,
that.
it's true. My mom was
No.
kind of like, oh, that's interesting.
No.
It's not like you're gynecologist.
No,
it's not like you're it's
See,
different.
oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up then because I was under the impression that, you know, you are seeing
No.
these as
No,
well.
no. I even tailored it so as to make the client feel even more comfortable.
Right.
Okay, so when after you know all the affirmations is said and you're about to sit over the pot of steaming herbs, which the temperature is regulated because I use a digital cooktop, so it's much easier to regulate than a knob.
Okay.
Right? And then we've been trained at what temperature to start at, and you can easily turn it down. I put all my controls to the side, right? So, but even before that, I give you a gown, you go to the washroom and you change into the gown. It can be a full gown or it could be a half gown, right? And then you sit over the steaming herbs. And, you know, I still talk to you, you know, make sure you're comfortable, make sure the steam is you know, to the right temperature, because even when I did a lingam steam,
Did you do one?
Yeah.
Wait, there's an equivalent for men?
Men's
Yes.
steam?
What?
I was just about to ask.
Yes.
Oh,
There's
snap.
a men's
Things have
version.
changed.
Things have escalated. Things have
0
escalated.
to 100.
We thought this was just for
We
women.
thought it was just Yoni women.
But
no.
But Yoni men.
But
Hello men.
We got you covered.
We got you covered.
But it's not. but it's not exactly. But before we get there, like I said, I make sure all the controls are on this side. If you look on Instagram, you'll see that a lot of parlors or spas, they have their controls to the front because it's women, they just lift the skirt up or whatever. But I put it to the side to make you feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
This has been well taught out by me. Like I know how women think for the most part because I grew up with a lot of women, right? My aunts and my grandmother, my mom. So I literally try to make my every client feel special and comfortable because that's very, very important to me.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
for
thank
sure.
you. That's
that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah, we
that's
appreciate
important.
that. Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of skated over this whole.
Not even skated. Dropped a
literally.
Code red.
We're not.
So
we can't walk away from
We
this.
can't walk away from this. This is too good. Too good. So
We got hot tea.
hot tea.
Gosh.
So we thought that the Yoni experience was simply just for the women, the women's experience, the women's affirmations, the women's womb and body, and all the things that it could do for it. But little did we know,
Men can get it too.
men can get it too. We need to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
How does that go? How does
Okay.
that experience happen?
Yeah.
So it's literally to maintain your prostate health, right?
Okay.
And we all know prostate health.
That's a big one.
Just as
It's
big.
huge.
It's a
as
huge
maintaining
one.
your womb. In this world, the song says it's a man's world, but that ain't true.
Say it
You wanna
again.
say that a little louder for the
Say it
people,
again.
for the people in the back of the pew?
Like, we love our women,
Yeah.
and we love our men just as much. We want to take care of our men. I'm sure you have a partner and you want to see him in good health.
Of course.
So a lingam steam, it's literally for prostate
So
maintenance.
What's it
tell us
called?
again.
Sorry?
What's it called?
I was told it was a lingam steam.
A lingam steam
Yes.
for our men.
Which is kind of contradictory because you basically move all this stuff out of the way.
Sorry, what's a lingam?
Your lingam is your penis.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
No,
because lingam, limber. I don't know. I was I just.
I didn't get that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're learning new things here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
Yes. So yes, men can do it as well.
Okay.
And there are certain herbs that attest to prostate maintenance and stuff like that. That after a certain age, you start getting checks. And,
Right.
And it's stuff like that. So.
So is it the same type of they said it were the same type of process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
same affirmation.
Affirmations.
Okay,
Same
that's
process.
interesting.
Same.
So couples could do it together.
Couples could do it together.
They can do it
Really nice
together.
couples.
Yes.
thing.
Forget couples massages. We doing couples
Couples
yoni
yoni.
steams and lingam
Couple
steams.
yes.
2020.
Couple steams.
Things are looking a little up and up now. Okay.
They're looking.
We don't have to throw the whole year away.
Yes, it's salvageable. The year is salvageable.
The year is salvageable. Yeah.
It's salvageable. We it's just the first 3 months. We got a long way to go.
We got a long way to
and
go.
now we
Yeah.
can yoni.
We can
or
yoni
we
and
can
lingam.
Amazing.
I love it.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by this guy version. I don't know about you, but I thought it was like this is
Yeah.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
now all. So have you had any males? That was my next question.
I haven't had any meals, but I did it in our course.
Okay,
Yes,
and how did
'cause-
you feel? What was it like? So someone did it to you, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
We were paired up,
Okay.
so I was allowed to blend the herbs for my partner.
Okay.
And she steamed, and I checked in it. Went through the whole process, and she in turn did the same to me. Initially, it felt a little bit weird, as I'm sure it will for women, because I've done a few streams, and everybody's like, "Ooh, this feels a little bit tingly."
Yeah. You're not used
But,
to it.
yeah, you're not used to it, but
Some tingles are
as-
good tingles though.
of course.
Be me.
And there's
This is a PG. This is a PG podcast, everybody. Yes, you can listen to this.
and there are some herbs that will do that as well, like peppermint, spearmint. ginger.
Peppermint.
Yes.
Ginger. Listen, that's
Yes.
my language right
Yes.
there.
But like
Ginger tingle.
as with anything else, there's some herbs that you especially being in North America, there's some herbs that you can use in winter and some herbs that you shouldn't use.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because after your steam, you have to stay warm for at least an hour before you go back out into the cold.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
That's so
yes, very
fascinating.
important.
It's almost like to really like just hone the energy in.
It's like a
Yeah.
warm hug.
yeah, it's like a
Yes.
it's like a Wakanda moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
just
in
self-love.
just self-love.
Hold you.
Just hold it in.
Can someone else
Yeah.
hold you? Will that also work?
Okay. I mean,
if-
we're open to that.
If you do like a couples one, you can hold each other for an
Hold
hour.
each other.
It's a little cuddle session.
You know what I'm
You know
picturing
what?
in
I
my
would-
mind?
A
Yes.
love seed.
Yes, like
I need to get a love seed. Thanks for that. I'm gonna get a love
You're
seed.
welcome. Listen,
magic happens when you stop by
Right?
the H&H podcast. Okay. Yes. So, okay, you've talked a lot about obviously like Yoni steaming, but who might it not work for? Like, is there anybody who shouldn't get a steam?
Well, I won't say that there's anybody that shouldn't get a steam. There's just a particular time that you shouldn't get a steam.
okay.
However, there's one. Yeah, so like if you have an IUD in, you don't want to get a steam.
Oh,
Right.
Why?
Tell us why.
Because so there's some herbs that actually loosen stuff in your womb, right? So that will cause the IUD to shift
Oh, that's interesting.
and come down. So you don't want it. You don't want that.
Anybody
also,
else? Or?
if you're pregnant or think you're pregnant,
Oh.
yes, there's certain herbs again that can cause a miscarriage.
Oh, okay.
There's a aftercare. So like after you have your baby,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
I feel like that would be very
Yeah,
helpful.
that would be
Yeah.
very
that
helpful
would be
too.
really,
I
really
can just
helpful.
like really
Yeah.
getting out those toxins and
Yeah.
stuff.
What
Is
about
there
if you're
healing?
menstruating? Can you get it if you're menstruating?
on your menstruation, no. If you're on your moon cycle, you should not get
Moon
steam.
cycle.
Yes.
I've never heard it called that.
Yeah,
I wish-
In,
I wish it
in
was-
My, in my learning,
I wish during I wish during my moon cycle it was a moon.
but
feel
It's
like
more
a-
like a tornado.
Exactly.
Tornado cycle.
Hurricane
That's-
cycle.
Hurricane cycle.
and that's how you know that your cycle is irregular, because your cycle should not have you feeling like you're in a torrential downpour and on
Excuse
the waves.
me? That means my cycle's been
Yes.
irregular
Yes.
For life.
Yes.
for life.
I will
For
say
life.
that. I will say that. Okay, and it's called the moon cycle because the moon controls waves, and on your cycle you move water, your
Yes.
blood,
Oh, Omar.
right?
jeez,
and
Omar.
that's how. That's and
There's a lot there's a lot we're going into. The spirit is just
We getting learned here.
I'm gonna learn you.
I got my hand to my head, y'all.
You're gonna learn
I
today.
can't.
We gonna learn today.
Okay, tell us about this. I'm interested.
Okay, so back with energy, so you have friends and you have your close friends, and more often than not your cycle links
Syncs.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Your cycle's in sync,
Yeah.
or like very, very close.
Definitely
Yeah.
seen that. Yeah.
So your cycle is in should be in sync with moon cycle. So when
I'm gonna check that next time.
I am.
yes,
I'm
do
gonna check that too.
do
Yeah.
check it. Do
Check
check
it.
it.
So like when you say moon cycle, like full moon to
full moon to new moon, quarter moon, but it's usually on a full moon or around full moon.
So around a full moon, you would get your moon cycle. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But like I said, people are different. So
Right.
like for you, it might be full moon. For you, it
Oh,
might
got
be the
you.
new moon. It's different.
oh, it just
Okay.
follows
Yes,
moon
but it's
at
usually
different points.
yeah at different points. But it's usually when it's its strongest for that person.
That's interesting.
So depending on the moon, is that depending on the kind of pain you get?
Your cycle shouldn't be painful.
Because my moon cycle is on a full moon, Tasmanian moon,
Listen.
every
Yeah.
month.
it can be a struggle those first couple days.
It could.
Yeah.
A whole lie down. I can't talk to nobody struggle.
Why do we even have to work?
Listen, they need to implement that one day.
You
off
thought
per
the laws
month.
are female leaning
Thank you.
right now. It
Where's
ain't even
that
enough.
law? Where's that
What
law?
did I walk into?
Where's that law, y'all?
hey, I don't make the laws.
Justin
Okay?
Trudeau, where is that law? We need a day off every month, maybe
Okay.
2.
Well, maybe I can help with that. Well, your cycle really and truly should not be painful. A regular cycle shouldn't be painful. And a lot of women have been seeing relief through your diet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've encountered women who, you know, when I tell them about Yoni Steaming, they're like, oh, well, I probably don't need Yoni Steaming because my cycle is not really painful, or, you know, I don't get cramps or bloating or whatever. And, you know, I obviously I remind them it's also for maintenance, right? It can also help with moisture, your wetness. You know, some women have difficulty being wet, and, you know, so.
Well, I mean, like scientifically, are we kind of saying like for intimacy? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I just want to be clear for some of our listeners. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
for intimacy purposes. You know, instead of having to use man-made lubricants.
Yes.
You know, a system or an experience like this will help with that.
Especially women in menopause, I expect. You know, it would be beneficial for a woman in menopause.
Yes, it would help with that. Marshmallow root is one of the herbs that would help with that.
Marshmallow root, everyone. Just saying, if you need a little extra, you know, in your life, that's how you gonna get it. But you gotta come to Omar to get the full experience. Yoni Steaming by O. He's the only one that could hook you up.
And I just have to say, you know, like just being in your presence, Omar, I'm super excited, you know, for my own Yoni Steaming party.
I'm calm I feel calmed by him. Like that voice. It's just so calming.
Where are you from anyway?
Yeah, tell us.
That accent of yours.
Okay, well, I'm originally from Barbados.
See the way you said Barbados?
Bajan.
Yeah, man. I'm from Barbados.
Love it. Yes to my Bayesian people.
Yes.
Hey, Rihanna.
Yeah.
Are you listening? We got your people here.
We got your people.
Yeah, I grew up on the island of Barbados. I was born to a single mother. My dad lived in New York, and I've been there for 26 years before I moved here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So, Toronto, we're very lucky to have you here.
We are.
Omar.
Welcome.
It's blessed to be here.
Welcome.
So we are super excited, you know, to have Omar here with us. We really appreciate you taking time out.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure being amongst you.
So happy.
Now, to our H&H listeners, listen.
You tried it.
You tell us in the comments if you would ever try a Yoni steam.
You want to try it.
You know you want to try it.
Don't act like you don't. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Omar's here to hook you up.
It's a safe space.
It is a safe space. Tell us in the comments what you think. If you like it, would you try it? And we'll definitely leave Omar's information so that you can get in touch with him. H&H listeners, we got a contest for you. Go to our Instagram at Hustle and Heir for your chance. Now listen up, y'all. This is a big one. For your chance to win a Yoni Steam experience for 2. All the details can be found in the post on IG. So check it out. It's going to be huge. You could win.
Yeah.
We can't wait.
Listen, between the steaming and the herbing and what it can do for you, ladies and gentlemen, we're not leaving you out. You could get this done too.
Get you some.
Get you some. You could win. So get in there.
You don't want to miss this because Omar's the bomb.
Omar'sTheBomb.com.
Yeah. Get your life.
Get your life.
Set your intentions. You know what? Actually, as a world, we need to reset our intentions. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Affirm that.
Vision boards and
exactly.
We had a session.
We did have a session on vision boards.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah, that's a good combination, steaming and vision boards.
Yes. 2021.
Yeah.
Omar.
Yeah.
See if we could turn 2020 around.
I know. First of all, maybe we need a mid-year vision. Before we get on to. I think it'd be cool to do that, right?
We could do that. Just reset.
Well, we'll talk about it.
We could do that.
Get into the contest. And we'll see you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Thank you for listening. We are so glad that you stopped by to sit with us and, talk to Omar, Yoni Steaming by O.
Yes.
Leave us a great review. Make sure to share this podcast with everybody that you know. Follow us on Instagram at Hustle and Heir. Our podcast is currently available on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Amazing show.
Omar, you're natural at this.
Thank you for coming.
We can't wait to have you back.
I know.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe we should have a whole session on men.
Listen.
Can't wait to be back.
Is there a men's month?
I don't know. Isn't it like all the time?
It is kind of.
Yeah.
Great show.
Thank you. Great show, girl. Yeah.
Yes, here we go again.
Yeah.